Going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Christmas Eve. Hope you guys are ready because championship week is kicking off tomorrow. We got 2 Christmas Day games this year. We have a Thursday night game. We have 3 Saturday games. Full slate, or at least what's left of a full slate of Sunday games and a Monday night football game here in week 17, the final week for a majority of you guys for the 2024 fantasy football season. So, you know what we need to do. We're going to hop into some live fantasy Q&A, whatever you guys need, start sits, last minute waivers. It's only Tuesday, so waivers going to go through, very late tonight and then process on Christmas morning. So hopefully you get what waivers you want. Whatever it may be, get in the live chat. Let me know what you guys need, and we're going to run through some fantasy Q&A a bit here. So it is Christmas Eve, so I don't know. This is the earliest I could get on. I don't know how many people are able to come through tonight, but those of you who are able to make the stream, let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know what you're doing for Christmas. And like I said, most importantly, let me know what you guys need in terms of week 17. It's going to be a good one. We'll find out. All right, in terms of news, Aaron Rodgers plans to play through an MCL injury in week 17. He's been dealing with a few apparent injuries throughout the course of the season. A big one, George Pickens is off the injury report. He's going to play tomorrow. So that is positive news. But then I think kind of the question becomes, are you confident in starting George Pickens in this matchup? It's not a great matchup against the Chiefs. They haven't been as strong in terms of a secondary as of late, but they have been very strong on the season as a whole. And obviously Pickens is coming off of a relatively serious hamstring injury. So I do think Pickens is very startable still. I had him as a start in the wide receiver video, but it just depends on who you have. I'm a little worried about Pickens, but depends on what you got. I still think he has plenty of upside. Outside of that, nothing really crazy since Saturday night stream. I mean, Christian Watson got hurt Monday Night Football, but outside of that, I mean, it's such a quick turnaround. We just had football last night. Now we're having football tomorrow, and then we're going to have football Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So, not a lot of time for a lot of things to happen between this past weekend's action and this coming week's action. So basically we got George Pickens ready to go. And I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is like, who really cares? I don't think most of you guys are starting him this week anyways. So we'll find out. So let me know what you guys need and let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football. And we do have start sits out for every position. Kicker video is going to drop first thing in the morning for you guys. And then we'll have our must start video going live after tomorrow's games. And we'll just go from there into the week. And I can't believe this is it, guys. I mean, this season absolutely flew by. All right, I know I'm behind on comments. I got to go through as many comments as I can tonight and tomorrow before the games. I literally have not had a chance to answer any comments. This week has been very, it moved very, very quickly. So I apologize for that, guys. But I know I have a lot of comments on the videos. So, all right, Taylor, good to see you. All right, we got B-Rob, Pollard, Tracy Garando, if he plays, and Devonta Smith in full PPR. Start 3. Man, B-Rob is kind of tough this week. Coming off of the bad performance against a strong run defense in Philly, I am a little worried about him because, the Eagles are second against opposing running backs, right? the Falcons are 5th against opposing running backs. So it's like not that much of a difference here. And I do think that the Commanders are going to have to throw the football more than run the football, but you just never know. So he's kind of low, but then it's like, I don't know if I feel too much better about most of the options that you have here. I would start Tracy. The Colts are 23rd against opposing running backs. It's a good start. Good game this past week, even with Drew Lock being awful. So I'd feel good about Tracy. And then like Pollard, it's a great matchup. He gets the Jags. How healthy is he? You know, that's the real question. And how much volume is going to end up going to Tajay Spears? It's tough to say. So, like I said in the video for running backs, I do think that Pollard is still startable this week, but you just got to feel a little off about it. You know what I mean? Garando, I'm like, I don't feel great about Garando against the Lions. Good run defense. I would, however, start Devonta Smith. I'm rolling with Devonta if I got him. I mean, Cowboys are 25th against receivers. So I would go Tracy and Devonta. The last one's kind of up in the air. You could argue a positive game script for Brian Robinson. You can argue the matchup for Pollard. I don't know what we're arguing for Garando. Like, I guess the fact that the last time he played, he was pretty solid, right? It's just been a bit since we've seen him play. So, well, I guess a week. And Patrick Taylor was awful this past week. So maybe lowers your confidence in that run game in terms of the Niners, right? But I think the last one's kind of up in the air. Even though it is a great matchup for Pollard, I'm still worried about him. But I think I lean Pollard or Garando just because I'm worried about B-Rob this week after last week and the matchup this week. So Devonta, Tracy, whoever you feel best about between Pollard and Garando is probably who I would play. Slatton, what's going on? We got Burrow, H-Chain, Bijan, CD, London, Hawkinson, Garando against Josh Allen, Tajay Spears, Brian Robinson, I'm assuming, if you have Bijan. It's the battle of the B-Robs today, or on Sunday night. Tyreek, Sutton, Bowers, and DK. I mean, this will be close. I mean, the starting part of your lineup, I like Burrow, H-Chain, Bijan, CD, London over his Allen, Spears, Robinson, Tyreek, Sutton. Now, if Allen outscores Burrow, I won't be surprised, but I think those kind of even each other out, right? But I like Bowers over Hawkinson, and I think I like DK over Garando, but I don't know if that's gonna, those guys are flex options for a reason, right? So, you got a very good shot here, very good shot. So I'd feel good. Billy, what's up? A Richard Nix. That's a good question. I am feeling pretty good about Anthony Richardson this week. I haven't been as confident in him in the past couple weeks, but I feel pretty good about him this week. But with that being said, I would definitely start Bo Nix. So A Rich gets the Giants 23rd against opposing running backs. It is a very strong matchup for Richardson. The Giants have been not good defensively as of late, but it's a very good matchup for Bo Nix against the Bengals. It's a better matchup as the Bengals are 27th against opposing quarterbacks, and still the more consistent, better quarterback on the season has been Bo Nix. So I think I'm rolling with Bo Nix pretty easily. If I own Bo Nix, I mean, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that I'd probably start over Bo Nix this week. I feel really good about Nix going into the week. So yeah, Bo Nix for me. But I do like Richardson. This week. Would you start Chig over Hawkinson? Yes, I would. 110% I would. I feel okay. I'll say this much. I talked about this in the quarterback tight end video. There are some murmurs of Mason Rudolph not getting the start this week and it being Will Levis. I guess because Mason Rudolph threw a ton of interceptions and the Titans lost. But like outside of that, I still feel like he played better than. Okay, so never mind. Okay, this is good news. Double checked here. This was not up when I recorded the quarterback tight end video, but Mason Rudolph has been named the starting quarterback against the Jags this week. So that is good news. Because you look at the last 2 weeks and the increased volume for Chicken Conquo, it has come with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. So I was a little bit worried, like if Will Levis is the guy, who in the world knows what happens, right? So I do like Chicken Conquo this week a lot. It is a great matchup. He has been balling. This is a player who will kind of be like the face of the sneaky start video. I've already decided because for the sneaky start video this week, I'm just going to do one quarterback streamer, one tight end streamer, and Chicken Conquo's my tight end stream of the week. I mean, he's 9% rostered. You know, it's a fantasy championship. It's not a good offense. It's a player who has not been consistently productive on the season, but you might as well take the shot here. The upside is high. The Jags have been absolutely atrocious against opposing tight ends on the season, giving up the 26 most fantasy points to tight ends. And Chicken Conquo has 8 or more catches in his past 2 games, 10 or more targets in his past 2 games, and 13.9 or more fantasy points in his last 2 games. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. You don't know what you're going to get out of Hawkinson. I've been saying it for weeks. I took a lot of heat, like in the comment section on the quarterback tight end videos, for consistently being like, Hawkinson is nothing but a stream for literally since he's come back, and that's all he is. He's just way too volatile. And this past week was the first time that he's been on the field for more than 68% of snaps since he's played this season, and we're still seeing snaps to the other 2 tight ends on that team. They don't really get the targets and receptions, but they're on the field. They're part of that offense in certain formations. So I will go with Chig. And if you guys don't feel great, you know, you've been kind of playing with a low end tight end, Pat Fryermuth, maybe even Zach Ertz dealing with the concussion, Hunter Henry, like these kind of lower tier streaming options. And Fryermuth has been good, but you know, this past week came back to earth. Or you were banking on Brenton Strange, you know, you're finally moving on from Kyle Pitts, although you should have done so weeks ago. Or Kate Otten was a guy for, you know, these type of players. Like I think Chicken Conquo, you take the shot here in week 17. Do you think Aranda will play? I mean, it's a complete toss-up. He might. It's a complete toss-up. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think for the most part, the reports are pretty good. He's expected to practice this week, and like there's a shot he could play in week 16. So I think there's a chance. Although honestly, when I recorded the running back video, I thought for sure he wasn't playing this week, but that was just my mistake. I assume CD in London, yeah, they're going to be fine. I think London's ceiling could be a little bit lower with Penix at quarterback, but Penix was not that bad. He just wasn't good from a fantasy perspective. But I think CD has like been fighting through these. You got it. I said it in one of the wide receiver videos with CD Lamb. Like, you know, this guy's already gotten paid. Like he is showing his loyalty, and he's being a great player right now because he's playing through multiple injuries, and that shoulder injury is definitely bugging him. But I think he's gonna play this week. So yeah, you got CD, you got to roll with them. I won't be like they're playing the Eagles this week. The Cowboys are, and next week they play the Commanders. So like, I think he's gonna play against these divisional teams. I think he will. What's up, Bucky or Chase Brown? I mean, these are as good of starts as you're going to possibly get. This is a great problem to have. Any of these guys could, or either of these guys, I should say, could easily outscore each other. The matchup lies with Bucky. It's a better matchup for Bucky, but you can't go wrong. You could look at it 2 ways. Bucky has had the injuries, haven't really been bothering him. It seems, right. If you're worried about that, you could go Chase Brown. If you want to take the matchup, Bucky has it. But what, Chase had 13 points this past week. Bucky had 18. Like, you know, these guys have been great. Devonta, even if Hurts is out. Okay, so that's a good point. If Hurts is out, I mean, the ceiling's lower, but I still think he's startable. The bigger question, I think, is is Kenny Pickett also out? You know, because if we're going to a third string quarterback here, yeah, I'm not feeling good at all. If it's Pickett, like I still think he's startable, but I will look at your options there. I don't know that I like them much better than Devonta, but sorry, I keep forgetting Hurts may not play. At that point, I'd probably go Pollard, Tracy, Garando. But if Garando doesn't play, I'd still start Devonta over B-Rob. Wondering if Packers will play Josh Jacobs. It's a good question because, I mean, they can't win that division. It's a bigger game for the Vikings, I believe, than the Packers. But I feel like they want to beat the Vikings. Like I don't, either way, like the Vikings or the Lions are going to win the division and the number 1 seed in the NFC, right? So it's like if they spoil the Vikings, like they're helping the Lion, so it's a good question. How badly do they really need Jacobs out there? And like, I mean, they have some serviceable running backs on this team, but they're no Josh Jacobs, right? He might be limited this week, and it is a tough matchup against the Vikings, but if he's active, I got a very tough time not playing him. But I mean, I'll say this much. I think Jacobs, if the game was competitive, like that game against the Saints, as we talked about throughout the week, it was never competitive, right? Like they did not need Josh Jacobs to play. Like there was no reason to put him in and risk any type of injury. And maybe even just the injury scare in general, they were like, pause. We don't need this, this is a meaningless game. So, which by the way, I'm very happy that happened. That literally was one of the reasons why I made it into a championship in one league. But I know some of you guys aren't happy about what happened to Josh Jacobs. Some of you guys are happy. Anyways, yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. And honestly, I feel like they'll play him. I think there's a larger chance he's out week 18, which for 99% of you guys won't matter. Andrea, Merry Christmas to you. Need to London Flowers, Jennings, Adams, BTJ, half PPR. Great options here. I'm starting BTJ no matter what. BTJ should be viewed, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Maybe not in this exact quote, but I've been saying he's a must start no matter what. But literally, if you have BTJ, he is as high as a Jamar Chase, as a CeeDee Lamb, as a Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying he's accomplished what those guys have, but in terms of your fantasy lineup, like it should be no question, you have to start him regardless of format. The other options are interesting. It's kind of tough to bench Devontae Adams. That's kind of where I lean towards. I know these games are becoming increasingly more and more meaningless for the Jets, but that Bills secondary has been slipping up. But I do like Flowers this week a lot against the Texans. It's close between those two. I'll X London out due to the rookie quarterback. I don't hate him this week. I don't trust Jennings. I mean, you can start Jennings. He's still startable, but I don't trust him. Not compared to some of these names. So BTJ, very close between Adams and Flowers. Caesar, Catch, thank you so much for helping me get to the finals. Congrats on getting to the finals. Love to hear that. 12-team full PPR. I need 2 running backs and a flex. Hall, Connor, Walker, B-Rob, Ford, Flowers, Debo. I don't know if Connor's going to play. I mean, the reports are very mixed on James Conner right now. He's tough to bench. And I don't know if Walker's going to play either. Right now, I would have Hall, Connor, and Flowers in here. I definitely have Flowers in the flex. Love that matchup against the Texans. 100-yard game this past week. Playoff implications for both teams. So, yeah, that's going to be a good game on Christmas Day tomorrow. Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. I have my daughter's Christmas tree in the back. Nobody's commented on it yet that I've seen. So, I probably have Hall, Connor, Flowers in. Ford is interesting, but you're welcome, Billy. Jonathan, Mayfield or Burrow? I mean, you can't go wrong here. I do really like this incoming game script for the Broncos and the Bengals. They're both in must-win territory. I mean, the Broncos, them losing last week was a big deal, especially with the Dolphins winning and the Bengals winning and the Colts winning. The Broncos, even if they lose, they still have a 61% chance of making the playoffs. If they win, they're basically in, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a big game, right? Because the Bengals have a 1% chance of getting in the playoffs if they lose. If they win, they only have an 11% chance. But it's a must-win game for the Bengals. And I guess it's not a must-win game for the Broncos, but it's pretty dang close. So I like that game script a lot. But I love Baker this week. I mean, it's a great matchup. And this Panthers team, like, they are not they're not keeling over right now, you know? They're going to come out here and try and play spoil. And now the Bucks, I didn't realize that they lost this past week, that they dropped. So they're not in the playoffs right now, you know? Literally not in the playoffs. They can still win that division, but yeah, they need the Falcons to lose, which they could, to the Commanders, and then they need to beat the Panthers. I mean, so two very good game scripts, right? The matchup lies with Mayfield, though. But I don't think I'm benching Burrow if I got him. I think I go Burrow, but both are great. Tommy, what's going on, man? Merry Christmas to you. Championship weekend. I'm very happy that you got to the championship. This was your home league, right? The one you made all the moves all year in. I am very happy for you. I know you're stoked. And you got your Hawks in there. Nice. Andrea, Tua or A-Rich? Now that's a good one. I think I go A-Rich. I'm a little worried. Like, I mean, Tua's a good matchup and it's a must-win game, but like, he did not have a great game this past week. 12.5 points. It's kind of a weird game between the Niners and Dolphins. I think I'll take the upside in Avery. I feel pretty good about Richardson this week, but Tua probably has the floor. Here's another good one. Andrews or Jonnu? Man, that is tough. I mean, these are two guys for weeks and weeks because I get a lot of questions. These guys should be automatic must starts, but I get a lot of and these are two guys that undoubtedly have encouraged you guys to keep in your lineups. Oh, that is close. I think I'll take the matchup and go Jonnu Smith. But I mean, I don't know. I got a tough time benching Mark Andrews. Very tough time. And literally, Jonnu's the tight end 3. Andrews is a tight end 4. So I think I would go to matchup and take Jonnu, but Andrews also has a touchdown in every game since week 6 except for 2. He's been great. So that's kind of the difference. Like, Andrews gets the touchdowns or red zone opportunities, where Jonnu gets some, but he's really acting off of volume, you know. So, but it's a better matchup for Jonnu, but you can't go wrong. LeBron's, we made the ship again. Let's go. I feel pretty good. I'm going to 5 championships. Should have been 6. Close to 6. But streaming Titans currently have Muth put in a claim for Chig, Schultz, and Henry. Please rate. Yeah, I would go Chig, Muth, Schultz, Henry. I'm in on the Chig train this week. Okay. Very high on Chig and Conquo. I still like Pat Fryermuth's matchup this week a lot. The Chiefs have been very poor against tight ends all season long. I like Schultz. I think Schultz is streamable with no Tank Dell. He scored the touchdown this past week. And once again, it's a good matchup for him against the Ravens. They have not been good against tight ends. Henry is like fine, but I think the other options are better. More upside. But I'm hey, if Chicken Conquo is a bad game and you guys listen to me this week, you're gonna send me coal or send the Grinch to my house. But I'm in on Chicken Conquo this week. I'm risking it for the biscuit in the championship. Garando, if he plays, or Rico. Yeah, I know Rico was disappointing this past week, and good old Crusty Dusty Zeke came in and stole that touchdown. But that's not even what worries me, to be honest. I hate this matchup against the Eagles, so I will go Garando. Armando barely made it to the finals. Doesn't matter as long as you make it. Hurts is your only option. I have Hurts. Only options are Rudolph, Jones, O'Connell, Penix, Rattler. It's between Rudolph and Mac Jones for me. I think I would go Mason Rudolph. I mean, I said it in the video, like 16, 17, 18 points. Very doable for Mason Rudolph. Good matchup against the Jags. I think the worry with Mac Jones, right, is he's been so incredibly up and down that the floor is way too risky. I mean, the floor, 7 points in week 14, 13 this past week. And like that's the thing, is playing Tennessee. The last time you played them, he had 7 points. The Jags are at home for what it's worth, and Brian Thomas Jr. will probably have like 200 receiving yards. But yeah, I obviously there's risk. Sorry, Mike is squeaky. There's risk involved with all of these quarterbacks, you know that, but I go Mason Rudolph. My only concern with Rudolph is if it starts to go badly, like he might not have the chance to redeem himself. They might, for some reason, put Will Levis in, but I think against the Jags, Rudolph can get it done. He's got Chicken Conquo, right? How do prizes work this year? So if you're in the Catch Fam leagues, it's all on League Safe. I'm really bad at remembering this stuff. But I can tell you. I don't want to say the wrong thing by a couple dollars. All right. First place is 110. Second is 80. Third is 30. Toilet bowl winner gets the buy-in back, which is $20. Slatton says, I think Hawkinson's been boomer bust all year. It's been driving me crazy. 100%. Yeah, I would go Chig in your case for sure. Jason, start one. MH Jr., who dropped 26 versus the Rams this year. That is true. That did happen. That feels like decades ago. Thielen, McMillan, or Tracy. Oh, man. I have like not had any faith in MH all week long. And now that you say that, I'm kind of like, He did do that. What was that, week 3 or week 2? That was a long time ago, man. I like Thielen a lot this week, and I think McMillan's solid. Honestly, I think the safest play is Adam Thielen against the Bucks. But if you want to go MH, I mean, I said in the wide receiver video, like, I mean, he's as startable as anybody. It's just like the last 3 weeks he's gotten you single digits. So, I'm not. I just don't know if MH is worth the risk. I would rather start Thielen. I think he's so much safer. He's had double digits in every game since his outside of the first game back, since his return. And the last time he played the Bucks, he balled out. But also, like, this Bucks secondary, just week after week, has been a secondary that I want to start receivers against. I do like McMillan. We've been very high on McMillan the past couple weeks. Talked about him all last week. And I like Tracy this week. But I'm going Thielen. Sometimes, and I talked about this last week in the semifinals. Like, sometimes it feels like, oh, I want the upside. I want the player who can, bring that high ceiling. But sometimes what helps you the most is just picking the safest floors and the most consistency across your starting lineup, the most potential players to hit double digits, eh, is sometimes what you really need, especially like, you know, last week going into the week, if you had certain players on the Broncos or Chargers, right? I think the week before is a better example where you're going into the week and you started Cooper Cup, who had 0 points, right? And you're like, oh, I need to start the players who give me the most upside. Sometimes what you need is just the safest floor, and sometimes upside comes with that. McBride underperformed week 16, yeah, against the Panthers, who've given up like the second most fantasy points to tight ends. All right, Maddie at the bottom of the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Happy holidays to you. This is my holiday jacket. It's kind of warm in here, but I'm wearing it anyways. Lamar, AJ Brown, Flowers, Gibbs, Ford, Kittle, flexes McMillan, benches Harris, Debo, Pollard, Bigsby, Reed. Any changes? I don't think so, my guy. This is a pretty solid lineup. There's a chance that Pollard or Bigsby does pop this week. Playing against each other's teams, both teams are bad against the run. There is a chance that Ford comes out and is a bit of a dud because of the quarterback play, but obviously last week that didn't really happen, but also he had that big run, took that away. There wasn't a whole lot there. So I think you want to be a little bit careful with Ford. He's still very startable, but don't be surprised if he ends up not being great this week. This Dolphins defense is pretty dang good. They've been pretty dang good for most of the season too, and they've stiffened up a lot against the run, where for majority of the season it was against the pass, right? So I think Ford is exchangeable, but there's risk with Pollard. How healthy is he? How much volume is Spears going to get? There's all the risk in the world with Tank Bigsby. I mean, so I would say if you like Ford the best, trust your gut there. That's fine. But, you know, eh, there may be other options there. But everything else here, I love Flowers this week. I would start. Okay, somebody's going to bring it up. AJ Brown, what if Hurts doesn't play? I feel like AJ Brown will still be fine. I feel a little bit better about him if Hurts doesn't play in comparison to Devonta. And I'm still okay with Devonta, but yeah, I'm going to not freak out too much there. I said it for weeks about Debo. Like, Debo's going to pop at some point. But I'm not trusting Debo. I'm not. I will say with Jaden Reed, I think that there is a chance that Jaden Reed will have a pretty good game because this Vikings secondary has just allowed a ton of fantasy points to the position on the season. And I mean, I've said it for weeks and weeks, teams that play against the Vikings, like we want to consider their wide receivers, right? So I do think that Jaden Reed is interesting here, but I totally understand not wanting to play Jaden Reed, but doesn't understand that he's an option. And obviously the last two games haven't been great, but he's gotten you 11 points, and Christian Watson's banged up. And I do think that this is going to be a game where the Packers are going to need to throw a bit more. But Tucker Kraft, Dontavion Wicks, like they're all there. So just trying to give you a little bit of a landscape of what you might be able to roll with this week. But I would probably avoid Najee Harris, but I would say initially I do like your lineup. Reed versus McMillan is interesting. And then I would just say whatever RB2 you like the best, I think is fine because there's issues with each of them in some sense, like we went over. But for the most part, I think your starting lineup is good as is. And I don't know there's gonna be a major difference between benching any of these players for any guys. But like I said, I do think that arguably there's more upside for Jaden Reed than McMillan. Just don't forget, and I've said it for weeks and weeks, that this Panthers defense is not that bad against opposing wide receivers. So just keep that in mind as well. I think they're 12th against the position. No, that's not right. Hold on. I'm looking at my chart and I can't find the Panthers. It's really annoying. I can go to my second chart, but at this point, I'm annoyed with myself. Okay, I found it. Wait, no, I didn't. Okay, I'm going to the second chart. I was like trying to prove a point. Okay, they're 9th. I mean, that's pretty dang good. They're 9th against opposing wide receivers, so they moved up. All right, there's your breakdown, Maddie. Let me know if you need anything else. Thank you for the super chat. Jason, I was thinking of starting MH because my opponent has Murray, so I can counter him because I got Daniels. He has Terry. I mean, that's fine. I never think of my matchups this way. I just try to play literally who I have, who I think is the best for the week, if that makes sense. But that's fine. I mean, it depends on who you're benching them for. Put it that way. Because if I think the player that you're benching him for might score more, then I think you should play that player. Taylor quite literally limped into the finals in that league. Lost CMC, Rice, Nico for 5 weeks. B-Rob, Smitty, Pollard, Waddle, Kincaid, BTJ, and Jaden. Sometimes all you need is 1 or 2 players. I don't know why I said it that way. Thoughts on Nico tomorrow? You own Nico. You got to roll with him. It doesn't matter who he's playing. You got to roll with Nico, especially with no Tank Dell. That volume's going to be out the roof. Need a wide receiver 2 and flex. Debo, McMillan, BTJ, Keenan Allen. I am not benching BTJ. Once again, if you own Brian Thomas Jr., this is you have a Jamar Chase, you have a CeeDee Lamb, you have an Amon-Ra, you have a player that you cannot bench no matter what. So if you got BTJ, roll with him. And I'm starting Keenan Allen. I 20 or more points in 4 of his last 5. I don't even care if there's risk involved, I am rolling with him if I own him. Caleb Williams loves to target him. It's a decent enough matchup against the Seahawks. I would just roll with him if I got him, and I would not think twice about it. But there are some other good options here. But yeah, I would start BTJ and Keenan Allen. All right, Burrow or Baker we had earlier. Was that from somebody else, though? I go Burrow, but it's super close, and I like both a lot for different reasons. Need one. Jacobs, Chase Brown, Kyron. I mean, you can't go wrong here. I mean, 2 of these guys on the season are top 5, 6 backs. I don't know if Kyron's number RB 5 or 6. Jacobs is 4. And Chase Brown, where does Chase Brown rank on the season? Moved up to the RB 13. But over the past, since week 9, he's probably in the top 5. At least top 10 for sure. I mean, you can't go wrong here. With Jacobs, it's I think Jacobs going to play. I think they're going to try and win this game. This is tough. You can literally take a 3-sided die and write their names and roll it, and you're going to have a good start no matter what. I think Kyron has the best matchup. So you want to go matchup, it's Kyron. But literally, you can't go wrong. Don't stress on this one. You got these 3 guys. You're in a great spot. Jacobs has been the most productive on the season. Taylor, start 3 between B-Rob, Connor, White, Tracy, or Flowers. I'm starting Flowers. I feel good about him this week. It's a good matchup. Probably start Tracy. Feel good about Tracy this week. Connor, if he plays, I'll start Connor. If it's not Connor, I'll go Rachaad White. Marty, when my matchup, I'm in the finals. Ford helped me a lot in my flex. Should I keep Ford or switch to Charbs? If Walker is out, I'm going Charbonnet. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, Ford really had the one big run. He took it away. There wasn't a whole lot. And I just worry with DTR at quarterback, you know? I'm worried about the Browns right now. So I will go Charbs if Walker's out. If not, I'd probably go Ford. But the Bears have moved back to 30th against running backs. This defense is not good. Their secondary is fine. Thank you. The tree is awesome. You guys don't have to compliment the tree. Thank you guys. I was joking. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, just got the haircut done for Christmas Day. Armando, need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex. Cook, Tracy Spears, CeeDee Lamb, Worthy, Pickens, McMillan. Good options. I'm starting Cook. Tracy for a floor, Tajay for upside. I might lean Tajay by a hair. Starting CeeDee. The last two are a little tricky. Because, like, I want to say Pickens, but once again, I still think there's risk with George Pickens. And, like, I like Worthy, but he has the ankle injury going on, too. Do we have an update on... I mean, I think Worthy... I never doubted that he's probably going to play. He's still technically questionable. Now you got Hollywood in that mix, too. I know I didn't put Hollywood on the waiver video. I just personally... I don't want to play Hollywood this week. I think it's too risky. The Steelers are much better in terms of their defense, or their secondary, I should say, in terms compared to the Texans. I think I go Cook, Spears, CeeDee, Pickens, McMillan for a floor, Worthy for upside. But I don't hate Tracy in there, too. That's tough. Made it my 3rd straight Super Bowl. Let's go. Rico Sutt and McManus clinched it. Beautiful. Burrow or Josh Allen. It's a more meaningful game for Burrow. I mean, I think Josh Allen's fine. Like, I am in no way worried about Josh Allen. No way. You get the QB2 and the QB3. I mean, you can flip a coin. Like I said, it's a more meaningful game for Burrow. I actually don't know off the top of my head. So Jets are 12th against quarterbacks. The Broncos are 7th. I mean, neither particularly have a good matchup. So Cup or DK in the flex. How do you guys feel about Cup? Johnny or Chig? I'm still going Johnny Smith over Chig. Like, I really like Chicken Conquo this week, but if you got Kittle or Bowers or McBride or Jonnu, like, still starting those guys. All right, we're headed to the poll. Who you starting in week 17? Hit the like. All right, so we got... Sorry, I'd like have my mic blocking my keyboard. We got Cup versus Arizona. Where do they rank? Arizona's 8th against wide receivers. When did that happen? Or we got DK versus Chicago, and I still think Chicago's dropped to 11th. So not a great matchup for either. I still have a tough time benching Cup. Even though, like, if Cup had a good game this past week, I'd be in 6 championships and not 5, but I like I said last week, I still like DK right now. And Merry Christmas to you as well. Sorry. All right, we'll see what the polls say. Oh, you're in a Catch Fam? Is it Catch Fam championship, Tommy? Thank you, Michael. Finished 5th in my home league. Oh, that's right. It was the early playoffs. Where'd you rank Chig this week? Tied in 1, baby. No, I'm kidding. Like I said, like it just depends on what tight end you have. Like the top tier guys, I'm not starting Chig over. It just really depends on who you got. Have Mark Andrews and Joku trying to get Chig. Yeah, he has a weird name. Chig Okonkwo. I don't know how to say his first full name, but Chig is fine. Okonkwo is his last name. I would just start Mark Andrews if I'm you, though. Marty at the bottom of the chat. Thank you for the super chat. PPR, Flex, Thielen, Charbs, DK, Tracy, 1. Yeah, all good options. I really like Thielen this week. I'm probably just rolling with Thielen and PPR, but I do also really like Charbs if Walker does not play. But I think right now I just have Thielen in. But if Walker doesn't play, Charbs is a very strong start on Thursday night. Let me know if you need anything else, Marty. Leo, Love or Goff? I'll go on Goff. I just not like. Here's the thing with Love and Goff, the floors are very close here, very close. But the upsides with Goff, I will say, I do think Jordan Love's going to have a better week this week. I do think he's going to be forced to throw the football a bit. This Vikings defense good against the run, much poorer against the pass. I do think that will be a good thing for Jordan Love, and I do think that this game script will kind of result in resulting in the Packers throwing the football more. So, I still like Goff. I got a tough time downing Goff right now. The Cowboys put Zeke in for that TD. Yeah, there are a lot of upset people over that one, and it's like Rico had 8 points, so he would have at least gotten you, whatever that is, 14 points. Yeah, that was annoying. Kenny, last time Jackson, Tennessee played, it was a 10-6 score. This is true. It's true. But Will Levis was slinging it, brother. Mason Rudolph's going to change that this week. And yeah, the Jags defense was not playing that bad at that time, at least their pass defense. Then they have kind of fallen back out the wagon as of late. And there's a good point. But don't you kind of feel like the second time they play, we'll get points? Ghost Hunter, good to see you. Got eliminated in my full PPR league, unfortunately. In the championship, my half PPR league, would you go Strange, Schultz, or Chig? I would go Chig. I go Chig, Schultz, then Strange. I don't trust Strange. I fell for the trap last week. Every time we talked about Brenton Strange at the beginning of the season, he had at least a decent game. He let us down, boys. He even fumbled. Not playing him in week 17. I will go Chig, then Schultz, then Strange. Need one, Shakir, Tracy, MH, Hollywood. I would still go Shakir. I know he had a bad game this past week, but he is single digits, and I want to say just 3 games on the season, but that may have. Wow, I can't talk. That may have made 4. 1, 2, 3. No, it is 3. I was right. He didn't play in week 5, is what I was thinking. So I still like Shakir as the safest play, the best floor. But Tracy's okay. Hollywood's okay. MH is okay. I will say I'm not going to go out of my way to start Hollywood Brown unless you're in a deep format. I just think there's a lot of risk. You still got D-Hop. Still got Worthy. And now if Worthy doesn't play, that might make it more intriguing. But you got Kelsey, Noah Gray, some sort of run game. But I think Hollywood, did he lead the team in targets last week? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, but that Texans secondary is much worse than the Steelers. Although the Steelers have been slipping up a little bit as of late. All right, so Hollywood at 8 targets. I don't think he led the team. Yeah, no. Xavier Worthy at 11. My bad. But he like outpaced D Hop. But still, Hollywood was only on the field for 27% of snaps, but like he got pretty involved. But he matches up well against the Texans. It's just, I think when you have players that have given you production like this, I'd rather roll with them. Ghost Hunter, pick 4, 3 for wide receiver and a flex. T, Terry, DK, Tyreek, Sutton, J-Mo, Dowdle. T. Higgins, Scary Terry. Terry against the Falcons for sure. J-Mo. And Sutton. You could go Tyreek over somebody here if you want. But yeah, I'm going T, Terry, Sutton, J-Mo. Regardless of format. All right, Marty, Eagles or Seahawks defense? The Eagles. Why are people in on the Seahawks this week? People were like, man, I tell you, when you publish a video and you get like initially just all negative comments, it just like you just do not want to answer any comments the whole week. People are all over my defense video this week. I was like, whoa. Mainly because I said I think the Falcons are a floor play this week. Floor play. And I even explained why. But yeah, I don't like the Seahawks this week. I just don't. It's a short week. Like, I guess people are looking at the Bears. But here's the thing, okay? You have to look at it this way. This past week, okay, Seattle played Minnesota, right? Okay. They had 4 points. They have not had double digits since week 13. I mean, they're the defense 7, but like you kind of got to look at it a little bit closer. Okay. They played well against Bo Nix in his first start, 10 points. Played well against backup quarterbacks against Miami. Played well against the Giants. Played well against Kirk Cousins. Played well against Kyler Murray. Played well against Aaron Rodgers. And that's it. Every other game, they've had 7 or less points. And then, like, everyone's like, I guess they're just down on Chicago. I mean, Caleb Williams had 2 fumbles and 1 lost fumble, but no interceptions. Caleb Williams has not had an interception since week 6 against the Jaguars. And this past week, the Lions defense had 7 points against Chicago, and it was all from the forced fumbles. I mean, 2 sacks, only allowed 17 points, but I'm not there. I'm not there. I'd rather start the Eagles. I mean, I'll put it this way. I guess the Seahawks have the upside, but all the risk. But yeah, the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a safer floor. But I did say in the defense video, which I talked about the Eagles, but I did say, like, I mean, the Cowboys have not been that bad. I mean, they're not just keeling over here. But Cooper Rush has had some turnover potential. And ultimately, it's just a better matchup for the Eagles. And it's a bit of a more meaningful game in a way for the Eagles because they technically can catch the number 1 seed, technically. But it's still a very meaningful game for the Seahawks. They have to win. to stay in the playoff hunt. So the Bears are out. The Cowboys also out. I'll go the Eagles. It's a long-winded answer. Kenny, was it when the Rams had no wide receivers? Yes. Really banged up team? Yes. Yes. That's when Marvin Harrison Jr. was last. Good. Just kidding. Denver, Miami, or Seattle? Miami, for sure. Miami. Not even close. If the Bengals can do it against Dorian Thompson Robinson, yes, Miami can do it. Not starting Denver. Told you guys. And like Denver was a really two popular defense options this past week. The Chargers and the Broncos. And then people are still wanting to start the Chargers this week. And I am not there. The Chargers defense, if you've been watching these games, has not been as good as of late. I mean, they've had 3 or less points in 3 straight games. They had a really solid game against the Falcons. But since week 10, outside of that game, they've had 8 or less points in every game, 3 or less points in every game except for 2. And I just don't trust them. I don't. They played well against Gardner Minshew. Excuse me. Jeez. Bryce Young in week 2 when Bryce Young was bad. Backup quarterbacks in the Saints, I think, or Carr, maybe. I don't remember who was there in week 8. Whoever is playing for Cleveland in week 9, and then against Kirk O'Chains, where they had 4 interceptions in week 13. Like, these ceilings that rank a defense high in fantasy don't always equate to a consistently good defense. Like, I've seen people talk about the Chargers, talk about the Eagles, even at times, talk about the Chiefs, talk about the Steelers, and it's like, what you need very specific things for a defense in fantasy football. And the main thing you need is turnovers, people talk about like the Niners still, and it's like, some of these teams you just can't start on like you might get 7 or 8 points. Even Minnesota, like I've been so high on Minnesota all year long, but you guys have known over the past couple of weeks I have called Minnesota nothing but a floor play, and that is all they've been. Like if you're in a bad spot and like you're just hoping to get 7, 8, 9 points, like sometimes that's what you're banking on because none of these high upside teams are available to you. But we're looking for very specific things, and right now we're looking at what teams are playing Dorian Thompson Robinson, Drew Lock, or Tommy DeVito, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener. Like it changes, right? Remember a couple weeks ago, like we were looking ahead, Arizona, Tampa Bay looked like they had a lot of upside. Seattle as well. That upside's gone. It's just gone. It didn't happen. The schedule doesn't like the Raiders aren't even really a team that we can stream against. They were a better team to stream against when Aiden O'Connell was quarterback. So, or excuse me, when Gardner Minshew was quarterback, they've been better with O'Connell. So there's just very specific things. So yeah, in the defense video, I mean, last week we just hammered Packers, Falcons, right? When we thought Will Levis was going to be the quarterback, the Colts, right? The Bengals, like those were the best defenses this past week in fantasy football, the Bills had a good week too, but I do understand that the Chargers have a decent matchup this week, but the Patriots haven't been that bad. So, all right, there's my rant. Start Miami. Should I take a shot at the Jags or the Saints? No, I don't really like the Saints defense. The Saints defense is not that good. They're not. Sorry, my rant's not over. But I got a lot of questions. Like I said, I put the Raiders defense in the defense video, and people were like, this is terrible advice. They're the Raiders and the Falcons. And I'm like, okay, well, the Raiders have had 7 or more points in their last 3 games with a ceiling of 10 points. It's not great, but it's not awful. And have you seen the Saints? This was before Monday. The defense video comes out on Sunday nights. This is before Monday night, right? Have you seen the Saints offense? Now you guys have. Okay. Yes, we can literally take a chance on starting any defense against that Saints offense. I guarantee you. Okay. And the Saints defense is just not that good. They do rank, I mean, they're 17th in fantasy point scoring. 15 points against Carolina. They had a good week in week 3 against the Eagles. I'll give them that. Week 6 caused some turnovers against Baker. Not bad. Week 14, they beat up on the Giants. Okay. That's it. Those are all of their double-digit performances. They had -1 points this past week. They hung in there with the Commanders a bit, but still, I mean, they had 8 sacks in that game, which is impressive, and 1 forced fumble. But outside of that, nothing. They allowed 20 points and 326 total yards. So, and once again, the Raiders are not this team that we can just stream against whenever we want. They're not. When Gardner Minshew was a quarterback is when you got those inflated stats. The Jags are too risky. They're the defense 31. I know we had talked about them once or twice, but no, I'm not doing the Jags. Miami for sure. Miami's Miami. If you can get Miami, roll with them. Sorry, I've been a little passionate about the defense calls lately because I usually don't pat myself on the back, but if you guys were to go back and watch the defense videos this year, they were pretty good this year. Pretty dang good. Every now, I mean, you're gonna make wrong calls, and there's gonna be one team in there that didn't come through. But for the most part, like we were a little early to a lot of the parties in terms of defensive streams. And like last week, like I said, all week, no matter what, it was Bengals, Packers, Falcons. I don't care who you have. So I'm a little passionate. Thielen will be solid for sure, says John. But I also have Jerome Ford. I'd rather start Adam Thielen. All right, I'm way behind in the chat. I'm going to fly through a little bit here. Kenny, thank you for asking a question. Would you play Bucky, Evans, McMillan? Yeah, I never worry about this. And if the Bucks have a bad week, yeah, you're probably screwed. But if these are the best possible players that you have, just roll with them. And all these guys have been solid. Willie, thank you for complimenting the tree. Who can I replace Connor with? It really is going to depend on who you've got out there. It's hard to say, hard to say. So it was a little bit better of a waiver week than I originally anticipated. There are some options. Tajay Spears, if he's out there, get him. Alexander Madison or Amir Abdullah, get the Saints run defense. Gus Edwards, if he's still out there, and J.K. Dobbins doesn't play, don't pick up Kendre Miller. You think Allen will get a break in the second half if the Bills are up a lot? It's tough to say this time of year. It's always a possibility, especially after the third quarter ends. It's really tough to say. But I will say with Josh Allen, I think he's going for that MVP award, so he might stay in. Best defense to stream this week: Dolphins, Bucks, Commanders, Chargers, Bengals. I would definitely go with the Dolphins. Never had so good. PPR need one. Devonta, B-Rob, or McMillan. I'll go McMillan. Okay, I'll go Devonta if Hurts starts, then McMillan, then B-Rob. If Hurts is out, McMillan, Devonta, B-Rob. Chicken Conquo at tight end. You are welcome. Happy to be here. Appreciate you guys so much. Got Rodgers and Penix. Don't worry about the rain. Okay. I wanted to be way more I wanted to harp on this way more last week in the Seattle, Minnesota game. And I fed into it a little bit, but at least on Sunday morning's video, I said, start your studs in this game and start Jordan Addison, JSN, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones. Start these guys. Don't let the rain get to you. Just don't. They know how to play in the rain. It has to be rain for it to affect them. Don't play Carr. Don't play Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young's going to be my top streaming option at quarterback this week. Taylor, all my underdog teams are dead. I'm very upset about it. The injuries this year just really hurt me. Although, really, this past week was a good week. I mean, everyone kind of balled out except for Brian Robinson, Brenton Strange, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Cooper Kupp. So Yeah, the injuries hurt me. Merry Christmas, Chase. Good to see you. Debo or Pickens? That is a question. Okay, are you worried about the Pickens injury? Does it bug you? If it does, Debo's still flexible. Debo's either going to like return to original form of the past couple of weeks or have another solid game. I mean, the Lions secondary is banged up, and I think Debo hates the Lions. I feel like he hates the Lions and the Eagles and the Cowboys. And don't forget, I mean, Debo's auditioning for a contract somewhere. Pickens for a floor, Debo for upside. I'm just worried about Pickens. I mean, if he's good to go, he's good to go, but I'm still worried about him. McMillan or Jennings? I will go McMillan. But once again, it's a good matchup for Jennings. I won't be surprised if Jawan Jennings balls out. I won't be surprised if he has 9 points like this past week. I think McMillan is a safer play. Colts defense or Miami. So I like both a lot. I mean, these are probably my top 2 defenses on the week. Miami's been better on the season. Can't really go wrong. You like the Colts? Go the Colts. The Giants' offense sucks. Ford or Thielen? I'm going Thielen. Going Thielen. Albert, what's up? Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas to everyone listening. Higgins is questionable. Do I flex Worthy? No, just start Higgins. If Higgins doesn't play to flex Tracy, that's fine. Higgins is going to play. I got inside information. I'm just kidding. But yeah, really, I do think Higgins will play. I mean, this is a time of year like, these guys got anything going on, like they're not going to risk it in practice. Higgins should be fine. Like I think, and like Green Worthy's banged up too. I think I'd bank on Higgins, but I do like Worthy right now. Yes, I think Tracy or Higgins will play. Yes. Cup is like T. Higgins to me, second option for Stafford. This is true, I suppose. Chase is the first option. I think Stafford's more reliable than Geno, so I'm going to go Cup. That's fair. Geno was pretty solid last week, but I don't expect him to repeat that. You're welcome, Marty. Happy biscuits. Mark Andrews or Frymer? You got Mark Andrews. Should be no second thought. Start Andrews. Pete, thank you for hopping in. About to record kicker rankings, but wanted to stop in and say how much I appreciate the catch fam. We appreciate you, Pete. Thank you for all of your help this year on the channel. Merry Christmas to you. Have fun putting together the kicker video. That's right, Kenny. The Titans going to put up 40 points this week. Charbs or Kamara, assuming they both play and Walker's out. I would probably risk Charbs because I don't think Kamara is going to play. If you're Alvin Kamara right now and you watch that game, like, yeah, I don't think I'm going out there and risking my groin. But according to reports, he's going to try and play. Honestly, I think the floor with what the Saints are offensively is just as okay with risking Charbonnet. But yeah, I guess the elephant in the room is that Carr might play this week, which could improve things. GT Sport, what is going on? Mixon, White, Allen, Zay, Jennings, Garando. I like Keenan Allen a lot this week. Again, I like Zay Flowers a lot, but I got a tough time benching Mixon. Although it's a tough matchup against the Chiefs, man. I mean, this Chiefs run defense is no freaking joke. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, wait, that's not right. He's going against the Ravens, which is still a tough matchup. Last week he went against the Chiefs and it did not go well. I apologize. I think there's more upside with Zay Flowers or Keenan Allen, but that's a tough one. I'd probably go Allen or Zay Flowers, but it's tough to bench Mixon. Start Love or Russell or drop Russ and pick up Bryce Young. If you're going to stream Bryce Young. I am okay playing Jordan Love if you want to, though. Charbonnet over Jacobs. I really like Charbs this week if Walker's out. He's got the matchup, but if Jacobs plays, and I think Jacobs is going to play, I'm probably just playing Jacobs. Purdy or Mahomes. I think I'm going Purdy. I think the floor is very similar for Purdy and Mahomes this week, but the upside is higher with Purdy. Start one for the wide receiver 2 spot and one flex spot. BTJ, Shakir, Reed, Spears, Pickens, or Garando. I'm starting BTJ no matter what. And half PPR, I'll go Spears. But all these guys are good options. Any of these guys can outscore each other, but I'm definitely starting BTJ. Brought DJ Moore. Would you put Moore over JMO? The floor is safe with DJ Moore, but I'll take the upside in JMO. Start the Vikings, Titans, Jaguars, or Raiders. I will say if Carr ends up playing, like I don't like the Raiders defense. Like we're really just trying to stream them against Spencer Rattler. The reports on Carr are really up in the air. I mean, I would lean the Raiders if there's no Derek Carr. Then I'd probably just go the Vikings. I don't feel great about the Vikings this week. Like I think we're looking at another start of like 7-8 points, but yeah, I just these are not my favorite options. Raiders, Vikings, Jags, Titans would be my order. It's because Caleb gets sacked so much. I guess that's true. And I guess it depends on your scoring format. Because some leagues you get a lot more points for quarterback sacks than others. But still, he's only had 2 sacks in each game the past 2 weeks. He did have 7 in week 14 and 5 in week 13, but 3 in week 12, 3 in week 11, 2 in week 14, 2 in week 16. Like, it hasn't been that bad lately. I mean, some of these games are bad. Like, he had 9 sacks in week 10, but I get what you're saying for sure. That offensive line is not good. They're actually pretty decent in the run game, but they're not good in pass protection. Actually, like Caleb Williams, he gets a lot of unwarranted hate. He definitely does. He definitely does. And like the other issue is Jaden Daniels is playing fantastic. Bo Nix is playing fantastic. And with what he's got, Drake May's playing fantastic. And the verdict's out on Michael Penix. Well, Penix was not that bad this past week, right? I guess his first start was the Giants. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of issues with the Bears. And yes, the offensive line is bad, but like Drake May's offensive line is bad. The other two have pretty, Daniels and Bo Nix has a good offensive line. Broncos did a great job building that offensive line. But the bigger issue with the Bears is still the mismanagement in terms of coaches and offensive coordinators and ownership. And it's a trickle down effect. And, it's not a great place for him to grow as a rookie. But, and that's the other thing. We've gotten so used to, like, we want quarterbacks to come in and just be Patrick Mahomes. But then people forget that Patrick Mahomes sat an entire year out. Like, look at Bryce Young, right? Like, some of these quarterbacks, and I'm not saying that Bryce Young is perfect, but these quarterbacks need time. It used to be very common. Like, a quarterback's going to be awful his rookie season. And like, that's just part of it, and he might take 2 or 3 years, but now it's like quarterbacks in their rookie season in their first 3 years or whatever in the league are so under the microscope. So I do agree. GT Sport, McMillan, MH, Hollywood, Tracy. I just lean towards McMillan here. Miami, Indy, or Buffalo. I love all three options this week, but it's Miami or Indy for me. So we'll find out. B-Dub, like the chicken wings. Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Addison, J-Mo, start 2. I'm starting Addison, and I'll say this: Hill for the floor, J-Mo for upside. And he can still start Drake London, but he's banged up. He's got a rookie quarterback. I don't know if his ceiling's as high. But these are all good options. I would not stress out here. They're all good options. Can I trust JJ this week against Green Bay? No wide receivers had 2 good games against them. Got BTJ, Neighbors, Debo. You're in the fantasy championship. You have to start JJ. The Packers secondary is no freaking joke. No joke. But you have to start JJ. And I would go BTJ. Do you have somebody else in there? I mean, BTJ and JJ have to be in your lineup. Taylor, the defense video, there are not a lot of good options for defense this week. There's just not. That was another part of the problem. But yeah, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. I can tell. I mean, yes, you should watch it. It is good when you guys watch the videos, but the Dolphins versus the Browns, the Colts versus the Giants, the Raiders versus the Saints if Carr is not activated, the Rams versus the Cardinals, Falcons versus Commanders, and I also mentioned that I think the Commanders versus the Falcons could be a thing, and the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Those were my picks. Got a lot of hate on that video. Please help with the PPR for this week. Jalen Warren, Pacheco, or Bigsby. Merry Christmas to you, Ed. I'll go Tank Bigsby. It's Jalen Warren or Tank Bigsby. I am not starting Pacheco. Bigsby has the better matchup. Warren is kind of the floor play, but it's a bad matchup, man. That Chiefs run defense. Every time I say to start a Jaguars running back, they have a bad week, but I would probably start Tank Bigsby. Full PPR, I need one wide receiver, a running back, and flex out of Thielen, Pollard, Spears, Mooney, Pickens, Allen, Sharps. Yeah, definitely start Sharps if Walker's out. If not, I go Spears, and I would play. I'd probably play Thielen. I just like Thielen this week, but I think Keenan Allen's a great start, and Pickens is still startable. Oh, you need a wide receiver, running back, and a flex. I play Thielen and Allen, and I would start Charbs. If Charbs is not the starter because Walker's playing, then I go Spears. Kenny, Merry Christmas to you and to all a championship. I like that. John, Merry Christmas to you. Good luck to you this weekend. Marty, Raiders or Eagles? Eagles for the floor. Raiders have the upside if they're going up against Rattler. Parker, start 2. Jennings, Debo, Flowers, Ladd, or McMillan. Flowers and Ladd McConkey. Flowers, great matchup. Ladd McConkey, the most consistent. Worthy or Thielen? I prefer Thielen, but I like Worthy a lot. I just think Thielen's safer. Flowers or Charbs and PPR? I'll go Flowers, but I like Charbs a lot if he's a starter. Both are good options. Knicks, AR, May, Stafford. Whew. Or Young. Knicks. I'll go Knicks. I'm a believer. T. Higgins or Tyreek and Breece Hall or Jerome Ford. Ask Dominic. I mean, I think Hill is very startable. And it's not a bad matchup, but I would probably play the floors with Tyreek Hill, the upsides with T. Higgins. Very close. I will go Breece Hall over Ford, but it's close. Good questions. Madison or Abdullah? I mean, it's a coin flip. It's a toss-up. I mean, they both had double digits this past week. I think it could happen again. The Saints' run defense is not good. It's not. And they're not good against wide receivers. They've given up the 26th most points to wide receivers. They've improved slightly against the run, but they're still giving up the 22nd most points to the running back position. And you saw what the Packers run game was able to do to them before that game got out of hand. Knicks or Kyler Murray? I'd probably just start Knicks. And Kyler, like, people are so down on Kyler, and like, he really hasn't been that bad from a fantasy perspective over the past couple weeks. I mean, 17 or more points in 3 of his last 4, really 3 of his last 6, but the floors are 11 points and 10 points in weeks 12 and 15. Like, it's tough. When you get a low week, you get a low week. I would just start Knicks. Abdullah or Chig? Chig. But that's risky either way. But probably Chig. Defense options are Raiders, Hawks, Falcons, Jags. Raiders are top priority, lowest projected total. Yeah. If Carr is activated, I don't like it as much because the Raiders are not a good defense. But I think against Spencer Rattler, I would start them. And the other 3 are just kind of toss-ups for me. It could go any way. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. They're going up against the Bears, but yeah, and like the Seahawks defense has not looked good as of late. Happy Biscuits, Mark Andrews or Pat Fryermuth? I would definitely start Mark Andrews for sure. Mayfield over Burrow, asked David. This is the 3rd time we've gotten this one tonight. I would still start Burrow. Like, if you want to go Baker, I have no problem with it. I think these are arguably 2 of the very best starts at quarterback this week. I have no problem whatsoever going Mayfield if you feel better about it. I would still lean Burrow, but both are very good options. I mean, you got the QB3 and the QB5. Like, you can't go wrong here. John, Okonkwo or Ferguson? I'm going Okonkwo. I'm in on Okonkwo this week. Will Bowers have a field day all over the Saints? I mean, he could have a field day all over any defense, and I would not be surprised. So, I mean, if you got Bowers, you got to start him. There's no questions asked about it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we made it to the bottom of the chat. If you guys need anything else, get it in here last minute, and we're going to start wrapping up over the next 5 minutes or so. Just wanted to hop in here. A little bit of a shorter stream tonight. We'll have Pete's kickers coming out first thing in the morning. We have start sits at every position out for you guys: running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. All are out. Must start defenses and streams are out. Waiver wire videos out. So whatever you guys need to start the week is out. Whenever you guys have time in between the holiday, those videos are out. But don't forget, guys, we have 2 games tomorrow. We have a Thursday night game. We have 3 games Saturday, Sunday games, and a Monday game. So make sure you guys are paying attention to your lineups and all that good stuff, because it's crunch time, baby. So, all right, but a little bit of a shorter stream tonight. Must start players. So it's going to be 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, and tight end will drop after tomorrow night's game as well. Sneaky starts and streams will drop Thursday. And then on Friday, last minute waivers will drop for you guys. So yeah, we'll have a full slate for you guys per usual. And actually, I said that wrong, right? So must start players comes out at midnight. So technically Thursday. Sneaky starts comes out Friday. And then last minute waivers comes out first thing Saturday. Then we'll have a video drop Sunday morning for you guys. Final video, technically, of this season. Need to start 2 of these wide receivers: Jennings, Addison, Allen, Adam Thielen. I still like Addison and Keenan Allen over Thielen, but I do like Thielen a lot. I would bench Jennings, but I won't be surprised if Jennings has a good game. Adventures from the queue: Jennings, Reed, Tracy, Ford, or Robinson. I think I go Reed against the Vikings, especially if Watson's out. If not, I'll go Tracy. McLaurin or AJ Brown. I mean, you can't go wrong here, but I'll take McLaurin, but very close. Merry Christmas to you, Taylor. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Marty, I have priority over my opponent in waivers. I picked up Chig just to block my opponent. He is a Browns tight end, and Joku might be hurt. Don't have Thielen yet, which is more important. If you need to play Thielen, probably Thielen. Probably Thielen. Kyler or Tua this week as Joel. Kyler. But very close. Risk with both those guys. I'll go Freiermuth over Hawkinson, but it's close. If Chicken Conquo on the Titans is available, I'd snag him up. Ertz or Strange? I'll go Ertz. I'm not trusting Strange again. Smith or Thielen? Smith if Hurts starts, Thielen if he doesn't. Merry Christmas to you. Hall or Charb? Charb if Walker does not play. If Walker plays, Hall. Merry Christmas to you, Andrea. If the Chiefs win, will the Bills rest their starters? Tough to say, but probably not. I think Josh Allen is maybe week 18, but I don't think so in week 17. Josh Allen wants that MVP. Merry Christmas to you, Tommy. Space Ghost, Merry Christmas. Good to see you, bro. Albert, London or Pickens? London's banged up too. London has a slightly better matchup. That's close, man. Whoever you feel better. I'll say London for a floor. Upsides with Pickens. Flex 1, Swift, Spears, Reed, McMillan. One running back. I'll go Spears over Swift. McMillan for the floor, Reed for the upside, but risk. Jason Sanders or Fairbairn. Like I said, Pete's kicker video will be out tomorrow, so get his opinion, but I'm going to lean Fairbairn. But Sanders been balling out, man. But I think the Chiefs will hold the Texans a bit more potentially and force more field goals. But both are great. Both are very good options. Marty, you're welcome. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all you guys in the chat. Dolphins or Colts? It's a coin flip. I like both a lot this week. They're probably my two top options this week. So I might slightly lean the Dolphins, but both are fantastic. You can't really go wrong. Space Ghost, Chargers or Seattle? I don't really like either, but if I had to pick one, probably the Chargers, just because the Patriots have allowed for some decent games against defenses as of late. But I prefer the Colts, the Dolphins, or the Raiders if Carr is not activated and Spencer Rattler or Jake Hayner's the quarterback. All right, guys. So hit the like on the way out. Like I said, all of our start sits videos are out. Kickers is dropping in the morning, and we'll have plenty of content to wrap up the week as well. We need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex for Tristan. I'm going Henry and Jacobs at running back. BTJ at wide receiver. CD at wide receiver. Amon-Ra at wide receiver. But you got a lot of good options. But yeah, a lot of good options here. This could go in a lot of directions, but Jacobs, Henry, CD, Amon-Ra, BTJ. Merry Christmas to you. Happy biscuits. You're welcome. Yeah, I would go Freiermuth over Hawkinson, Joel, and I go Chig over both of those. The most upsides with Chig and Conquo due to the matchup, and Mason Rudolph's going to be the starter still. He's gotten all this volume with Rudolph at quarterback. So yeah, I go Chig. Connor or Warren? As long as Connor's healthy, I'm going Connor. But you might not know before Warren plays, but I would risk it. I would just wait to see if Connor plays. We'll see. Merry Christmas to you, Tristan. Johnny or McBride? You can't really go wrong. You got the tight end 3 and the tight end 4. It's a coin flip. Your guess is as good as mine. I think Jonnu has a better matchup. I'll check. Cleveland is 25th against tight ends, which is good. The Rams are 23rd. So I guess Jonnu, but these are both great starts. Merry Christmas, Willie. McClan, Mixon, Hall, Kamara, Ford, Spears, Reed, Debo, or McMillan. I'll start Hall, and here it's probably Mixon and Kamara if he plays, but I just don't know if Kamara is going to play. So right now I'll say Mixon and Hall, but like I really like Spears too. Really like Spears. One flex, McMillan for a floor, Jaden Reed for upside, and I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy if Debo has another good game. But you got a lot of good options there. Also forgot, do I go with Allen or Daniels? I mean, that's almost impossible to answer. Probably still Josh Allen. If Josh Allen had like at least 20 points this past week, it'd just be Josh Allen, no doubt. But it's a more meaningful game for the Commanders, and it's a primetime game. I might lean Jaden Daniels, but you can't go wrong. If you go Allen, you can't go wrong. Space goes to go Jonnu and one and McBride and another. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's just so close, dude. So close. Should I start Nico and Flowers? Yeah, over those options for sure. For sure. Any thoughts on a streaming quarterback if Hurts is out? I like Bryce Young this week. That's probably who I'd gravitate towards. Like, you got some guys who have good matchups like Mason Rudolph, Mac Jones, but I'm not trusting them. I do like Anthony Richardson if he is available. It's Richardson or Bryce Young. Those would probably be my two top streaming options at quarterback. All right, guys, that should do it for the night. So thank you guys for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I hope everyone has an incredible Christmas. Hope you guys all get to enjoy some time with your family, watch some football. I hope you guys get everything that you want for Christmas, and everyone be safe, enjoy some good food, relax a bit. And thank you guys so much for such an incredible year here on the channel, our most successful year on the channel of all time. It has taken a ton of work. I've done nothing but make fantasy football content since the first week of September, and I've enjoyed every second of it. And I'm so seriously grateful for you guys and for this community. It's been a long ride, but this channel made huge strides this year. So thank you guys so much. When you guys watch the videos, like the videos, drop a comment, join the streams. It helps out a ton. So thank you guys for an incredible year, and Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Sincerely. All right, that should do it. So hit the like on the way out. Check out the videos for the week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Everyone, enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy the games tomorrow, and good luck in week 17. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch, and peace.